Hello, once again it's another Bangkok ChitChat, and today in the studio doing the Hua Hin report, normally zoomed in from the technology that's available these days, it's Richard.
Oh, you did zoom in, you zoomed in all the way from Hua Hin.
Zoomed up on the expressway.
You did, yeah.
That's the
How's
best
the
way to
traffic
go.
these days on that road?
It was surprisingly good. And
What
you're
time?
up on the north side of Bangkok, and I thought, oh my good grief, how am I going to be able to get there?
Yeah.
But straight through Wipawadi, turn right at Sutasan, and we're here.
So you left Hua Hin what time?
I left, I don't know, what time did I leave? 8:45, I think, yeah. And I was here whenever I got here.
Well, about 2 hours. It always used to take, we always put 2.5 hours to 3.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, I normally allow 3.5 because they've had all the traffic jams and things. And I usually stop for coffee halfway, answer the emails, make the phone call that I forgot to make.
Because you
left
the home in a hurry.
And anything else that needs catching up with.
Okay.
So give us a catch up on Hua Hin.
Well, yeah,
Catch
well,
up
no,
in
we're
Hua
going to
Hin?
do Richard's background first.
My background?
okay.
Because the viewers they've seen Richard on our Hua Hin reports, but don't maybe know him exactly. So tell us a little bit about it. I know you came here originally for the radio.
I
That's how
came
you
here.
were introduced.
I came here because I wanted, I wasn't working, and I thought I wanted to come and have a look at Asia. And I met this character of a Thai gentleman in London many years ago. And his name was Kun Itiwat. And he said, I've got a radio station in Bangkok, but he did it with a Thai accent. Would you like to come out? And I thought, oh, okay, that sounds like a good idea for a year or two.
Yeah.
And here we are 30 odd years later.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
And that's the way it goes with a lot of people.
Okay, so it was Richard on the radio for a long time.
That's a bit of a,
Tongue twister.
It works.
Yeah,
Richard on the radio works.
Richard on the radio.
Back in
See?
the 80s, it
Instant
worked.
jingle.
I know.
102.5.
Yeah.
Yeah, surf radio. Yeah, which is what you do now. But before we get to that, when you were working on the radio, you set up a business. And as far as I know, and this is very sort of like pre-seed, it's providing a music format or playlist to outlets of whatever type of outlet. That's what I want to know.
We set up a company back in about 2002, right, called BM Asia, Background Music Asia. Okay. And the idea of that has been to provide, would you believe, background music to restaurants, mainly in the leading hotels and into business. So that can include places like, gyms and dentists and perhaps banks or whatever. And that was set up in 2002. Hardly anybody else was doing that.
No one was. And how did you deliver the music? This is what I'm more
This is
interested in.
a very good question.
How did you deliver it to the customer?
We used to get on an airplane. And I've been to just about every country around the region over the past 17 odd years. Yeah. So we used to contact mainly hotels. Yeah. So the hotel would fly me out. I'd go and have 3 days in like Beijing or Ho Chi Minh or wherever.
I know you went
it
to
is.
China a lot.
I've been to China quite a bit. I've been to Tibet as well, which is interesting. Yeah, that's another story. And the music, it was software and music. You stick it on the PC, and the
CD or
it was we took the music files and loaded it into a computer.
Oh, back then even.
Yeah, this was 17 years ago.
Wow.
15 years ago.
It's pretty up to date.
And it might be. Yeah, and the software we used was just bought off the shelf, but it was professional software, which we then had modified so people couldn't tamper with it too much. Yeah. And that would then stream music within the hotel to the
suiting the ambience of the outlet, right?
So
which
you can
is
have
your
Chinese
programming
music
coming in.
exactly.
Yeah.
And it's
He's
all
a programmer as well, by the way.
So this was the whole idea, was to put the beauty of programming radio into the hotel environment.
Get it.
So you can have like instrumentation, piano in the morning and jazz in daytime and hard rock at night if you
all
want
scheduled,
it.
yeah.
All pre-scheduled.
For people that didn't know how to do it. You know what I mean?
Well,
if you had a pub, you might say, oh, I think I can do it, if they had a bit of talent, and those are not your customers. You're talking about hotels and stuff.
We service a few pubs as well, but not that many. But the big advantage was that it would take the pressure off the food and beverage director and manager off of music, and it would stop the staff playing their own, choice of tracks.
Yeah, because I worked with hotels about this, and it used to be an F&B nightmare.
Was there a copyright issue?
Oh yeah, copyright's a big deal. But we had a very good relationship with the Thai copyright people here.
Right.
And that relationship lasted for quite a long time. And so, things have changed. I mean,
how have they changed?
It was fabulous for me as a person that I was able to jump on an airplane every week and go to a different country. And my colleague also. So there was mainly two or
to
three
sell
of
it,
us.
sell the service. Yeah.
To install it.
But don't forget, you had to pick the music in the first place. So
We had
there's
to
work
design the
involved
music
there.
back in our office and take it on an airplane to a
Correct,
place.
lovely.
Now, of course, things have changed.
Well, how is obviously the way you deliver.
Our company has teamed up with a company in Sweden, which is associated with Spotify.
Spotify.
So we are connected with a business system that delivers Spotify type of music channels streamed to our clients.
Yes.
So everything that we deliver now, we still design the music, but it's all done on screen, and it's all done via, at the hotel end or the client's end, they would have an iPad or a computer or whatever, or a phone, and then they can change the playlist if they want to.
Okay.
That sort of thing. So it's all streamed music for business.
What do you mean by design the music?
You design the music.
You select the tracks? Or?
Yes, you select the tracks into a theme that is required by the hotel.
Right.
So they may well come to you and say, hey, look, our guests are out on the terrace in the morning.
Here we go.
All right, here is the sun.
You're not going to play techno.
And no, we're not going to play heavy rock or techno. We're going to play,
chill,
Hucky Eichelman and acoustic lounge or whatever you want to play.
Right.
Whatever. And then at lunchtime, it gets a bit more busy because the whole family comes in for a burger and whatever it is and fried rice at lunchtime, and that requires a different feel to music.
I mean, put this in a different scenario. You got a bar opens at 6, and they have cocktails and happy hours. You have like walk-in music. It's just chill, and then they know by 8 o'clock they've had a few, so the music ramps up a little bit. And then 11 o'clock is going bonkers. But that means everyone working in that outlet on F&B have absolutely nothing to worry about or take care of the music, which was a big nightmare in the old days for these guys.
You do lift music as well.
The lifts, I love putting in music, some music for going up and some music for going down. Not many go sideways.
Floor 3, women's underwear.
Exactly.
No, sorry.
Thank you, Andy. So that's basically BM Asia. And of course, this last 6 months has been absolutely terrible for us because a lot of the hotels stopped.
They've not got anybody to hear the music.
Right. So even our clients down in Hua Hin are saying, oh my God, I don't have any customers. Can you offer us a better deal? And of course, we've had to downsize our business.
Really?
And this has been a huge issue for not just us, but thousands of businesses particularly in Bangkok and Thailand. Where companies have been 20, 30 people or 100 or 500 people, and they've had to downsize or stop altogether. And so this has been quite a stress.
I've got a question. Only because, do you remember Kim?
Yes.
And he emailed me the other day, and he's got a problem with playing music in his little restaurant-y bar thing that he's got. And he said, they came round, whoever, and said, you've got to pay this. And he said it happened to a place near him, and it was a different amount, smaller, which really annoyed him. How do I get around it? And I said, I'd help. And I said, well, you need a music license.
Yes,
Is it as simple as that?
It's almost as simple as that. It's exactly that. He can go online and look at the MPC website, which is the music publishing people website, and they have rates on their website.
How so the rates, depending how many people you have in there, how many covers you have?
It's normally the number of seats.
Okay.
So 0 to 50 seats is one rate, 50 to 100 is another.
And once you have that license, you can then download any music to play, or do you have to go through a company like yours that works through Spotify that obviously pay?
Either way, it doesn't matter. If you are playing music from the major labels, and you're doing that in public, then you have to pay the public performance license.
As well as the MPC thing, or is that
the
covered?
MPC, they issue the public performance license.
Okay, so you pay them and you're done.
Yeah, more or less. But of course, copyright has been designed to be totally chaotic.
Tell me about it. I went for polygraphs.
You did. And internationally, it is chaotic because they came up with a licensing system that was designed 50 years ago for regions, departments, where they would have to physically print music onto vinyl and deliver it within that region. Now you have the internet, music is much more global, but still the copyright people want their slice of the cake for their particular region. And so the copyright companies have put an office in most countries, in over 100 countries, each with their own set of regulations, each with a different set of pricing. And the rules vary from place to place. And so there is very little cohesion and cooperation. Now, we actually approached the Copyright Office in Hong Kong and were able to start negotiations and get quite a long way, so getting negotiations for copying music throughout Asia. But there was never really an Asian-wide license because all the independent companies in different countries wanted their cut of their rate. And then in some countries, like here, and in one or two others, you have to pay this public performance license. In places like Singapore, you don't, because that license is covered in a different way. All right, and so the rules change, and therefore copyright is one of those where the goalposts are constantly swaying, so nobody really knows quite what's clear. But if you're running a bar or a restaurant and you're playing the big boys' music in there, then you should be paying a copyright license for public performance.
Through MPC?
Through MPC.
Can you...
and that covers you,
That'll cover you for the major labels. It will not cover you for the labels that are not with the major labels.
Under their umbrella.
But
So
logically, if you're paying this license and you're going to their website to access that music, that's the only music you would play anyway.
Well, no, you're not going to their website to access it.
You don't access the music.
It gives you a
through the
license
website.
to play music.
You can access the license. You can pay for a license. You can subscribe.
Well, they must have
to
a list
license.
from under that license
where
what
you're
you
coming
can.
from,
Well,
this is where it's cloudy, right?
This is where
Who's
it's
on
very
the
grey.
Who can I play and who can't I play?
All right.
Yeah.
So the major thing is for a pub is that if the police walk in, or an authority on it, they could turn around and say, "Listen, you're playing music. Let me see your license." And they're not going to look at every track you paid for the last
you just
24
show them
hours.
MPC
You just show that license.
Well,
You'll be covered.
in theory, yes.
Oh,
Correct.
Oh, no,
Yes.
don't.
If you can show the license, then you're covered, fair and square. But in Bangkok, all right, there are also independent music companies, of course, internationally and
they're not
and
under the
Taiwan.
umbrella of the MPC.
Exactly. And there are over 30. There were just over, a few years ago, there were just over 30 companies that claimed to be collection societies for music.
Yeah.
Some were, some were not legit. So we have a friend down the road who's a client, and the police and a group walked in saying, "Oi, pay us your money." And the guy called me up in the middle of the night and said, "I've got this crowd here. What do I do now?" And I said, "Well, you call the MPC and
they should
have a
take
license."
Okay, go on.
So basically, some of these people that claim that they want money for your licensing are not legit. So you have to be very careful who you're paying your money to, because in some of the bars that are a bit more open, some of these characters have gone in, taken out equipment plus music, which they're not legally entitled to do in many cases.
I mean, on YouTube, if we were doing an outside broadcast and there's some music being played on the back,
You
there
have to be very careful.
YouTubers have been struck off.
Absolutely.
But my question to you is, can you join like Spotify Premium, and
Yeah.
get your music that you've designed through Spotify?
No.
Okay. That's a shame, isn't it?
No. But, well, you see, a lot of places now use YouTube and Spotify in their lounges. It's not legal because YouTube and Spotify are designed for the consumer market.
Correct.
They're not designed for business, and you're running a business.
That's right. Yeah.
Right?
Commercial.
Same as cable TV, true. I mean, they've been through all this in the pubs and everything else.
So all these lounges and bars where they're playing music, it's not really legal. But if they were to pay the copyright license, they will probably, a blind eye may well be turned. Because you're paying the PP of the public performance license
in
for
the
that
right
music.
sort of, I get
So
it.
if you get 50 seats,
But it's not technically legal.
but 50 seats is as a guestimate, how much would it cost a year?
I don't know. I'm out of touch with that.
Right.
And I don't really want to say, but
I think,
but a lot of
Maybe
places,
100,000?
a lot of places
No,
are paying
it's-
around 30-ish.
Yeah, I heard
30,
it's just
40,
a guideline.
for the
40,
Patia thing, it was 11,000.
Right.
And
A year,
it
yeah?
was just.
Well, that
no,
might-
I don't think it's a year.
That might be a one-off fine. But an annual fee is payable. And if I say 30, 40,000, I may be right, I may be not. I'm not sure.
Not commitment.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So let's move on. But so if COVID goes, we're all still alive by then. You're back in business again.
Well, our business has picked up a bit. Now look, if you want music for your business, you can approach our company, which is called BM Asia, and there are several BM Asia, all right, and we can supply you with music legally, and it'll be streamed legally through our streaming
That's
service.
a big headache relieved because the music thing is copyright, and they're going to take care.
But you still have to pay the PPL license. You pay our fee for the provision of music, and
all right, and then the license to play it.
And then there's a copy. Then there's a license on top. So it's not a cheap thing.
No, but it depends on how busy your bar.
Yeah,
I mean, if your bar's not very busy and you can't afford
Yeah.
10,000 a month or something, then let's not think about music. Let's maybe think of upgrading the food a bit, or like music wouldn't be so important
Well,
if that's all is.
for
If you
mo-
can't afford to pay
exact-
10,000 a month, that's the point.
Exactly.
Well, there's another issue, thing of that. Is, I mean, imagine you're a hotel, yeah, and you've got a function area, yeah, a function room, and which is designed for 1,000 people or whatever it is, yeah, and you have music going on there. They would have to probably look at, as you said, the theme and have suitable music, background music in there, yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
But with that license, speaking to you, they could go and do that very straightforwardly.
It is relatively straightforward.
Right,
Okay,
that's good.
okay, one very quick, because we've got to move on to the report, because I know you're dying to go through all those important facts.
These
you've got to-
notes.
What about live music? Where does that fit into the MPC?
Oh dear, have I opened a can of worms there?
Well, you are still performing music,
correct.
much of which
Cover versions.
belong, the composers and the authors and all of that go to MPC.
So it's the
again.
same deal.
So you still have to pay. A public performance.
Okay.
It's a public performance.
Okay. What's going on in Hua Hin? I know about this big Brit. No, we'll talk about the bridge.
We can't go on to that. We've got 102. So, what? Right. So this is just part of his business. Your other business in Hua Hin
is
all to do with what Surf 102.
I wanted to keep
Like
myself occupied, and because I worked in radio I like to say I worked in radio for about 100 years, give or take 50, right? So we're looking at quite a
Radio
long
Caroline.
time. Yeah, all those years ago. And then
You're
we
on Radio
worked.
Caroline on the boat.
I was out on the boat
He's on the board.
a long time ago.
When the board comes in.
Yeah, exactly. Children. Okay. But that was a long time ago. But
Yes, Dad.
yeah.
So it's in your blood.
Do you not
we
get
know
seasick when you're on that boat?
That. Oh, don't
No,
go into that. There's
never
a whole new
did.
story there.
No, I never did. I could show you some video of some of the storms we were in, which is quite
Yeah.
scary.
Did you get
actually.
arrested?
No.
You got off before you swam back, yeah?
Yeah, that was all okay. It was all good fun. And it worked out great.
There's a great story there, because I'm right into. That's how I started DJing, was for listening to the Pirates. So, which you did obviously, because they were going before you were knee high to a grasshopper.
Well, when I was a kid, they were going. Yeah, that's why I got interested.
I know.
For those who don't,
Tony Blackburn.
for those
Still going.
basically radio was controlled by the government, yeah, and then
No, it wasn't.
very restricted. No,
the
radio,
pirate.
and then and piracy came out because they were putting restrictions on it. They said, well, to hell with you, we'll go on to international waters. Yeah?
You weren't allowed to play commercials.
and basically started playing music, etc., that people wanted to see, which they could not,
Easily
restrict
here.
or
American
manage
style,
it.
really. It was
Well,
based
that
on.
was back in the 60s when
Yeah.
I was about 15. And you would have been
yeah.
a similar
I
sort
actually
of-
wrote to the
or
government
maybe
when they
10,
closed
actually.
him down.
Right.
And found out, did you
yeah.
write as well? I wrote
I
to
don't
the
think I
actual
wrote,
Prime Minister.
but-
I did.
Did you?
First letter
Good
I've
for
ever
you.
written. Yeah, I wrote. Why? We used to,
It's funny how you started off like that just there, and then you went.
well, yes, more like that.
This is the same conversation we had before. Where
Yeah, I know.
You had to go to the post office and buy a stamp.
Andrew
remember?
was more like.
Yeah.
But we used to go on the Dover Downs and flash our lights.
Oh, did you? That's when you
they
were a
said
kid,
everyone
right?
flash
Yeah.
their lights and get me.
But that was the first time around. That was back in
Yeah.
the 60s,
Yeah.
1966, 67, 60,
Yeah.
whenever.
Yeah.
I was on there in the mid-80s because Caroline had a new boat.
Yeah.
And that was my little challenge.
it went
and
on
was-
that long.
Yeah.
It did.
It went
was,
on until
yeah.
1990.
Yeah, see the documentary available on YouTube. Yeah.
And it was popular again in the 80s. In the mid-80s, it became very popular again.
And
along with Laser 558. And the boats were like side by side.
And the purpose was because there was too much censorship.
It was commercial free.
Well,
I'm sorry, not the opposite. They could play commercials.
I think
commercial radio in England.
I think it was just an alternative to what was being developed, and commercial radio was very slow to take off in the UK.
Yeah.
Yes, you had
needle time and everything.
You had
else,
all this nonsense. Yeah, absolutely.
Needle time. By the way, you could only.
They had needles, and that's another story.
You can only play, styluses. Yeah, you could only play so many records a day. So I don't know how many it was, like 12 hours a day. The rest had to be filled in with live music and stuff.
Chat. Yeah.
It sounds archaic, doesn't it?
Archaic to the point of, people talk about democracy, freedom of speech, and you can play so many songs in it.
Oh, I tell you who'd start Musicians Union.
Yeah,
I don't want to go near behind it. Yeah. No, that's for another day, which I do want to do with you and a couple of other people that were there. But right, so 102.5.
Okay, 102.5. We moved to Hua Hin 6 years ago now. Good grief, nearly 6 years ago. And I used to go down there at the weekends and have a condo down by the beach, as a lot of people do. And we'd go down there and I'd hear this disaster of a radio station on. And I thought, well, there's a project one day. And then we did move 6 years ago. And I approached the owner, lovely Thai guy and his wife. And after building a relationship for 3 or 4 months, he invited me to come in and said, well, would you just like to come and run this thing? Ooh. And I thought, well, yeah, there we go.
I've done that before.
I've done that before.
I can do it.
And it's become an all-consuming passion thing.
It is a passion.
It is more than you realise. Yeah,
I can understand being a radio man. Yeah, but not easy.
No, but it's also a lot of fun, and it's also become very popular. And it's run like a small commercial radio station. It makes very little money, but it's enough.
You run it like a community radio station, would you say?
It's a mix.
Music community.
Well, the community, we don't have much in the way of staff. I've got a morning DJ that we pay, and that's the only guy that gets paid. And then we have a few volunteer people that help doing a few other things. Are you on it? I do it occasionally, yeah.
Richard on the radio?
Richard's on the radio. I do a Friday morning show with Lee, who was
Lee Evans?
No, a different Lee.
Okay.
It's the lady that we were talking about.
Oh, Lee, yes, ago. Yeah, get it. Yeah.
And so I do that on Friday, and the idea of that show was to come live from the Marriott, who is a sponsor, and we broadcast from the coffee shops there.
I saw Friday. Your setup, because you went on Facebook, right?
Yeah.
I saw it all.
Yeah. Of course, that actually stopped with the COVID, and we're still not back in because of the corporate regulations and things. But we still do the show, and that's all good. But locally, it's appreciated. Partly because it's local advertising, and listeners tell me they like the advertising, surprisingly, because it tells them what companies are doing what around Hua Hin.
So it's more informative. It's than informative. Hard sell about. Yeah, I get it.
But we get a lot of restaurants, of course, but there are other companies. Everything from curtains to solar panels to I don't know.
So how do people access it? They can access it. They can because it's not national.
It's a local radio station, so it goes up to Chatham and down to Pranbury.
It's on the internet.
But you can get it on the internet. You can tune in through the internet.
But the FM covers locally quite well.
Right,
and
that's where 10 kilowatt?
No, I wish. It's 500 watts, and it's not a great site. But it does services the area reasonably well, and that's where most people listen in the car. Maybe 2 or 3 or 4 or 5 times a day, because they're in the car going backwards and forwards everywhere. That's how Hua Hin is. Yeah. There's no public transport.
Yeah. So there's no public transport. You got your bat buses, yeah.
I got 1 or 2, but very few.
And
there are a few, but not many. And then we're online, so we're on our website, and we have an app. And there are many other radio station apps. We're on in about 20 or 25 of those, and it does quite well.
Yeah, and you're fulfilling your passion, which is what life's all about.
I thoroughly enjoy doing it, and people seem to like it, and that's what it's all about.
You're sort of like doing it, it's like a hobby, but you're getting some recompense back from it, obviously. And then you got your music stuff going on as well.
Yeah,
so you can go and buy us lunch.
Yeah, there you are. That's right, then.
Let's go on with the Hua Hin report.
Okay, you want to move on, right? Yeah. Okay, thank you.
We've talked a lot about music, with your music licensing and the radio station.
Sorry, we got a bit carried away there.
1 or 2 other things.
Yeah, very interesting.
Yeah.
So
Go.
a major music event coming up December 4th and 5th, and that's the Jazz Festival, of course, on the beach behind.
It's an annual festival, isn't it?
It's an annual festival, but of course it's normally carried out around May or June, and this year they're having it in December, at the beginning of December, and it's all been very last minute this year. Cole Saxman is the main man behind it, and he's a very well-known sax player, and he's built some terrific relationships with people in the music industry and
Local
jazz,
or international?
both.
Yeah. Okay.
And he's traveled a lot. You know, he's played in many different countries, and so he likes to travel to Holland and Germany and France, and of course he plays quite a lot here in Bangkok, and I think he does a weekly session down in Pattaya, and he's done a few down in Hua Hin as well. So he's really passionate about what he does.
Yeah.
So he and I get going about yak about music and radio, so that's great. So he's recorded a nice little promo for us, which we promote free of charge because it's a community event. And that'll be on the beach behind the Centara Hotel on the 4th and 5th. Now he's been scrambling around. Now who the heck do we bring in?
Because you can't before
fly.
you did, right?
Yeah,
Before
we
you
had Shack
international
Attack in a
artists.
couple of years
Yeah.
ago.
Shack Attack, I remember that.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah, Shack Attack.
And one or two other, you know, quite
They're not
major
that old.
names. No, they're, well, you know.
It's
What was it,
relative.
Bird
It's
Song, right?
relative.
What was
I
the
tried to
song?
think, I tried to say they're our age,
Ding,
Andy.
ding, 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 ding.
Yeah.
Ding, 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 ding.
Yeah, I
Sorry,
know, Shack
YouTube.
Attack.
It's
Copyright.
good.
Yeah.
Yeah. So there you go. Shack
Shack
Attack
Attack.
we're in. This year, I'm
trying to
not
act
sure
like
who
a
he's
young
got,
one.
but he's confirmed a few Thai artists, and there are some international artists as well that live in Thailand. So I will be getting an update probably in a few days.
That's the 4th and 5th of December.
December. Yeah.
Oh no, that's the 10th of December is a public holiday.
Okay.
5th is a public holiday.
It is, isn't it? That rings a
Yes.
bell. Right?
Yeah. There you go.
Yeah.
Yes, it
Okay,
should.
so there you are.
So that'll be terrific.
Book
that
your
weekend.
hotel now.
It's a Friday and Saturday. All right. So yeah, book your hotel because
Oh, it's a lovely vibe. I've been there. I was there a few years ago, not the Shack Attack, the one before, but it's a great vibe. They had different stages as well, from what I remember.
Well,
And
they've got one major stage on the beach and then a small one down the side.
And there were other bars sort of all in as well,
All
like so
chipping
you
in.
could go down a little soy and they were on the same theme.
It's a festival, yeah.
It's a great festival. It's a great getting together, you know, and
Let's hope it's busy because
I think-
Well, it's got to be locals, isn't it?
I think it'll be
No,
very
I think
successful.
there'll be a lot of people from Bangkok. who
Yeah,
go
well,
down.
there's
A lot of
local
Bangkok.
Thailand locals.
All right, okay, yeah.
A lot of Thais will be down there, I'm quite sure, from Bangkok.
4th and 5th.
Yeah, it's going to be good. So that's called Saxman. That's the Jazz Festival coming soon. A few other things coming. There was a press conference last week, which I went to, which was to discuss the Hua Hin Night Run, where it's a run for charity. And
At night.
would you believe it? It's going to be on the beach on the 28th of November, but it's not on the main Hua Hin beach. We have the the ferry, which goes to Pattaya.
Yes.
Right? And there is a beach next to that. That's just south of Hua Hin.
Yeah.
And it's going to be on that beach. There's going to be a stage, pop music. There's going to be hot air balloons. And there's going to be a lot of other fun and games.
So this is how they're managing the social distancing, yeah?
Exactly.
So they're 2 meters apart and 2 meters above.
Exactly.
I don't know
Yes.
if you have to social distance in
Well, I think we can get onto that in a minute.
okay,
But
then.
this is going to be major. They're looking they're expecting 3,500 runners on that beach.
How long is it? Is it
Beach?
5? Well, I know.
The beach is substantial. It's about 5 kilometers
So
long.
the run's about a 5K.
Well, no,
marathon.
it'll be along the road.
Yeah.
It'll go inland and then in up through Hua Hin and round and back again, that sort of thing. So it'll be a major, major run, but also a pop concert and all these other activities as well. So I'll be able to fill you in a little bit more on the next session that we have.
Yeah,
Right?
you can go down. You can do that, yeah.
That'll
And
be
then
good.
afterwards, you can do all the Zumba stuff on the
Yeah.
stage with the music. Yeah.
But if if
take
you're
that as a
interested in taking part in that, you can register between now and the 20th of November.
Okay.
So have a look on Facebook at the Hua Hin Night Run, and you'll find out all the
You'll
information
see that in
there.
the description below.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Get your
I've
guys
got
to do that.
I've got a couple of pictures of the balloons
Do
and
it.
stuff, which are great.
All right. When you mean balloons, you mean big
These are
balloons?
hot air balloons.
Oh, okay. That's
No,
sorry,
no. We're talking quite a good
That
size.
little person with a bunch of
You
balloons.
should have said hot air balloons, not just balloons.
He did.
Hot air balloons, big ones. Not quite big enough to carry people, but quite substantial.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Oh, well, I must admit, now that's clarified. So it's not with baskets and people in it.
Well, there are baskets, but I don't think they carry people. Or maybe they will on the day. We'll have to wait and see.
Yeah, okay.
But the ones that we saw were a little bit smaller. But
They're not these ones.
I got this picture in my mind. Someone goes in, and they got it all tied down and all this stuff, and they're up there, and they're looking down, and someone goes,
yeah.
cat. Floating away.
Well, that's what we were thinking at the press conference. That if the guy loses it, it's going to go, keep going up.
This will probably happen at
stratosphere.
night time as well.
Well, yeah, and of course, it looks great with the flames and stuff going in the bottom when the sun is low.
Oh, yeah.
The colours
yes.
are magnificent.
Also,
right?
it starts very, very early. Yeah, probably 5 or 6 o'clock.
You're
yeah,
taking
it'll be-
any video down there?
I'll probably take some video. I haven't really got that sorted, but we'll sort something
Right,
out.
if you can send us a
Yeah,
clip.
I will. Yeah.
That'd be good.
What else is going on? Rather than being here, I should have been in Hua Hin today because there's a tryout of something called foot golf, of which I know nothing about. It's a cross between golf and football. Yeah, exactly. And because I'm not
beginning to
there, I
like it
can't.
already.
Yeah, but apparently it's like
You kick a ball around a golf course.
effectively, I think that's what it is, and I'm not too sure about it. But there was a tester today, and there is going to be an event in a few weeks' time.
I can
Is
imagine.
this as a sport?
I can
Yeah.
imagine going on a normal golf course, right? But I'm probably totally wrong. But I can see the game, and I'd like to play it.
Yeah.
Bigger ball, bigger holes, same golf course. So when you drive off, you have to kick like a goalkeeper would kick the ball, and you drive it down the fairway, and then you would tap it a little less heavy to get onto the green. Then you do a little gentle tap into the hole.
I think it's something like that.
Yeah, I
but
can see that.
But I mean, I think a lot of people who when they start playing golf, they're about to drive off and they go
Right.
to hit it and they miss the ball altogether. They end up kicking the ball.
So I think this is going
I
to be.
can see that.
It's going to be
being
towards the end of
working
the
well,
month,
yeah,
right?
yeah. Knowing how to play football. You know,
I'm just wondering how there's always this issue that someone's too slow when you're playing golf. There's 3-5 people in front and you've got 2 people and you're trying to get past and they won't let you past. Yeah, and then you watch a couple of people kicking this damn ball. It's taking them an hour for one hole.
No.
And you want to drive,
if you know how
200
to kick a
meters.
ball, you can drive as much, whatever. But I think that's a good idea.
Okay.
Sign me up.
Yeah. Well, I think it's a great idea.
I know.
I'm not really a golf player.
No.
I prefer to sort of sit in a restaurant.
I thought you said I prefer football, but you're not a football
I
player.
prefer the iced tea. There we go.
Okie dokie.
All right, I'm not a footballer either. But talking of football, I recently started a podcast with a colleague who is a professional footballer. Actually, I said I started it. We started it. The footballer's name is Gary Stevens. He was playing with Brighton and Portsmouth and Tottenham Hotspur. He also played for England in quite a few large matches as well many years ago. And he's semi-retired down here in Hua Hin.
Yeah.
And so we thought, we've been talking about this for about a year. And last week we started our first episode of Sunshine Soccer, which is a podcast. And so it's Gary Stevens and our radio colleague, Steve Johnston.
Mm-hmm.
They're both football
Fanatics.
nutcases,
Yeah.
yes. And they come in and they sit down, I press record, and they yak. No cutting, no editing. They just do it non-stop, 25 to 30 minutes.
About everything that's football.
Yeah. And it's great. It's compelling listening
I can imagine.
if you're into that.
I am, yeah.
Which is
yeah,
great.
Yeah.
So I'll send you a link for that.
Yeah.
Yep.
But you can check it out, all right? It's called Sunshine Soccer, and it's on Buzzsprout. It should be on Apple. It should be on all the usual podcast venues.
Can I ask a
right?
stupid question?
Another one. There we go.
Yeah, another one. Yeah.
This is like the
Why are you
this,
doing
this
that?
is a bit like that. You said that when we were doing that Masonic interview thing. Can I ask a stupid question? Anyway, why do the Americans call what we call football soccer?
Very simple. Because they have American football, which is the American football.
So where does the word soccer come from then?
Well, they had to. No,
Sock it to me, sock it to me.
with the
I have
socks
no
on,
idea.
you sock it Yeah, I don't know, but they had to use a different word because they get muddled up with their national
But you don't know
sport.
why they use soccer?
No idea.
Okay, all right.
Good one.
Maybe somebody could let us know. Yeah.
But we decided, well, we were toying over, do we call it football, sunshine football or sunshine soccer? And we went for the soccer because soccer is more internationally accepted.
Right.
And being not in the UK, we just felt here and in Australia and in other places, it's probably
You'll get
wise.
questioned on that.
Absolutely.
We better find out actually
Yeah.
why it is called so. Okay,
Anyway,
good one.
So that's
Yeah.
Sunshine Soccer. I'll send you a link so you can
Yeah,
have a
please.
listen.
Yeah.
All right. What else is going on? Surf and skate. If you're into,
These weird sports you're coming up with.
there's a lot.
There's nothing else to do.
Hua Hin
You're
is
gonna
full
work.
on
I
that.
know, surf and skate. Go on.
Yeah, well, my son goes to the local skateboard park.
Yeah.
Not skating, skateboard.
Yeah.
And it's at the school, which is at the bottom of Soy 112, across the road from the Holiday Inn. And they built this huge area, concreted shapes
with jumps and
great.
with
rims,
jumps.
Yeah.
And all the kids, they love it.
Yeah.
And they take their skateboards and they go totally ballistic in there. And they held a music concert in there with skateboards as well a few months ago. That was 6
Okay.
months ago. And they're going to hold this surf and skate event.
What's the surf bit? Because it's near the sea.
I think they're going to be, it's
Oh, I
basically.
thought they were doing the sort of like
Well,
skateboard with the parachute
I think
things. And
there is going to be a bit of that as well.
Because
And I
that's
think-
fantastic. If
I
I was
think-
young, I'd love to do
And they
that.
do that anyway on the beach in
Yeah, they
Hua Hin,
do, yeah,
right? So
yeah.
I think they're going to combine
That's what I was
the
thinking.
real,
Yeah.
kiteboarding
Yeah,
along,
that's what it's called,
along with
kiteboarding.
skateboarding
Yeah.
together.
Yeah.
And that's going to be held, again, I didn't write the, yes, I have it, the 21st of November.
You're doing
There we
well,
are.
Richard.
I've got a story.
It's
my,
good.
My daughter got a skateboard, one of these penny skateboards.
Penny? I don't know what
They're
penny is.
small. I mean, no, you get the ones that are quite wide. This is quite slim.
Oh, okay.
And anyway, when I was basically, she got it and she said, "Dad, you can't do it. You just don't know how to ride a skateboard." So I took it to the top of a hill.
Oh dear. This is going to end wrong.
No, and I skateboarded, turned around,
Skateboarded?
flipped it, and she went.
You flipped. What do you mean you flipped it?
Skateboards is when we were brought up. We used to do the catamaran. Yeah?
skates?
No, skateboard. We did the catamaran. You'd put your feet on the other person's skateboard, and you sit in your skateboard, and you'd hold hands, and you'd go down a hill, and you'd go around corners leaning back. Yeah?
Tobogganing.
Yeah,
Exactly.
similar to that, yeah, but except you're two
Okay.
skateboards, yeah. So that was actually our era, and she couldn't believe that I could actually ride a skateboard. So I'm going down here.
When I was that age, skateboards hadn't been invented. We
I,
only
think,
had
I think it
roller
must have been
skates.
40, 45.
Yeah,
that I did it. She was just shocked.
Oh, wow.
And she videoed it, showed all her friends.
You weren't top heavy or anything.
No.
I decided not to try. I decided
Not
take,
anymore. No.
take the pictures rather than try it. Safer,
Yeah, okay, good
right?
one. These, what is happening to Hua Hin, mate? I mean, you can't try any harder. I mean, Hua Hin, not you.
Yeah.
Well, to make it a vibe. There's a good thing going on. And
There's
ever since we've had you on,
And this is why
I like Hua Hin.
This is why I think there are so many people that come from Bangkok down to Hua Hin every Friday.
Yeah.
The roads are jammed solid. The hotels are filled up. The Intercontinental the other day was 100% full because of people
Are they
from
doing
Bangkok.
special rates there?
Everyone's doing special rates.
But there's also a promotion from the government where
Yeah.
with Thais, not Falang, they're getting this 3,000 baht credit or
We
something like
talked
that.
about that. Even they get airline tickets reduced.
Air
which
Asia are
is-
doing the special flights, of course, up to Chiang Mai and Udon Thani
I
from
think it's only
Hua
for
Hin.
Thais, unfortunately, not foreigners. But I don't want to go into
It's
that.
not for
'cause I'm
foreigners.
quite-
It's not for foreigners.
It's
at the
not.
moment. But there's been discussion about other promotions to encourage. But reality is that if we want to go somewhere, we're going to go there.
Well, a friend of mine has got a Thai wife with 2 Thai children, and he flew them somewhere, and he said it was really cheap. I had to pay full, but they all got like 30-40% off the ticket.
No,
so the whole project was
You
pretty
can
good.
get discounted tickets from Air Asia for many
Even
of
the
their
foreigners?
flights. Yes.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
All right.
So I think it's fantastic. I mean, Hua Hin is really moving. And
It's
to be
great.
honest, I've been down there in the past month and a half twice
Yeah.
myself. But Chatham, it was just next door. Yeah. And it is a fantastic
Is
place.
Chatham the same postal code as Hua? I mean,
No,
it's
it's a different
is it
province.
part-
It's a different
is
province
it?
completely. Hua Hin is Prachuap Khiri Chatham is Phetchaburi.
Okay.
And the dividing line is, I think, just north of the airport.
Okay.
So
All
it's
right.
very close to Hua Hin.
Right.
You got any more on your list?
No, not a lot. I think that was,
Well, we're up for-
that's
for
most
time
of it.
anyway.
I thought we'd just have a general chit chat,
Yeah, and we
Yeah,
did.
which we have done.
Yeah.
which has been great.
You mentioned what he did. social distancing, right?
Yeah.
And you said, I'm going to talk about that in a moment. Did you?
Well, yeah.
I don't see it anywhere in Bangkok. No social distancing.
I mean, you've hit on a very good point. And the reason I wanted to mention it is that this last few days, of the last couple of weeks maybe, I don't know about you, but I've noticed people are not wearing masks.
I walked
in
into
many
7
places.
the other day and
I was
forgot my
astonished.
mask, which I'm normally very, because I think about other people, not myself, because I'm a nice person. But I walked in and I was getting the getting the soft drinks out of the fridge. And I got my mask on, but no one
didn't
you
anybody
do that
challenge
a month ago. There'd be where's the temperature thing and that mask.
They chase you out of the store.
And nothing. I put it on. I thought, but I didn't get challenged.
No, I've actually seen, especially when you come at the MRT and people haven't taken their masks off, and if I'm walking towards the MRT, and I don't have the mask on, because you don't need to in the public, but you should be within the underground. They sort of give me a weird look, which is a little bit scary in a way, because someone actually said, and it's quite correct, part of the reason people were wearing masks was nothing to do with COVID, it was to do with the pollution in Bangkok. Yeah.
Well, that's another factor, isn't it?
Yeah.
But I do think, mask wearing has been, it was taken up by the vast majority of the population and immediately here, but that seems to be fizzling out. Now,
is that a good thing or a bad thing?
The Minister of Health,
all these events,
the Minister of Health was saying in the news just actually this morning that he would actually like to see people continuing to wear masks and to wash their hands and do all the social distancing, because they just cannot stop people from crossing the border, either from Laos or Myanmar, Cambodia, out the porous areas.
That happened in that case in Krabi, didn't it?
Yeah.
Someone got out. But the due diligence they did on this guy, they really
went
to his plane that he flew over from Singapore, if I'm right. I'm going back, I think it was from Singapore. They got in touch with Singapore as well, so they did their thing.
Right.
On the plane, anyone within so many rows of this person, they've contacted.
Yes,
they're actually doing it for the whole plane at one point.
Yeah, well, they did say, because I thought, that's cool, just not the whole plane, but in an area. And they said he was wearing a mask, so that's ticked a few boxes as well. So let's hope it's not going to, because it only needs one person.
And then there was the French woman in Koh Samui.
Correct.
And of course there was a big scare surrounding that. But I think the Thai authorities have probably done extremely well in terms of tracking people down. But I think it's also interesting because we were just saying before we started that, perhaps Thailand isn't checking so many people as other countries. So is that why the numbers are so low?
Well, there's the biggest. Do you want to answer this?
Go on. Well, I just wanted to add that, in my humble opinion, I think the numbers in Thailand are extremely low, and the reason I think they're low is because I don't know anybody that has COVID right now. Do you?
No. I know.
You?
Not here.
Do you know?
Not here. I know abroad.
In Thailand and here.
No.
Most of my friends don't know anybody or might know one. And so therefore I think we would know if the local hospitals were filled.
That's very good. But the mortality rate for this year is very similar to last year.
Yeah. Yeah.
Well, people are dying of, sadly, of pneumonia and things like, but it's not any higher than the years before. And the hospitals aren't full. I
would like to believe that, hopefully I'm right in saying that restricting flights coming in has been the key to the success.
But they're about to open that up. They were talking about stopping places like Australia and not having them do any quarantine. And I personally think that's mad. But everyone says, because people are out of a job. And I mentioned this in a previous show. And I turned around and what's happened is just recently, hotels and restaurants are finding it difficult to get staff. So all these people are saying, I can't get a job. Some just don't want to work.
Right.
And a lot were from Myanmar, etc. But they want to work, but they can't get back in. Yeah? So I just don't get it.
We've been saying on the shows for ages, well, I have, I think everyone agrees with me. It's a very grey line of when you're running a country, when you haven't got all the information, or you've got information, but you don't know how to assess it. So everybody from Boris and all that lot, they're living off the seat of their pants. One day it's this, especially in the early days. But then you have to draw a line where it's economy versus death. at the end of the day.
Absolutely.
And that's what it boils down to. Shall we keep the economy sort of going, not full, and the death rate goes up because people are going to catch it and older people are going to die or whatever? Or do we, which Thailand did, stop everything, which was a great...
Well, I think it took huge courage to do
absolutely.
that.
Tourism gone.
Yeah.
I mean, how big an industry is that in
Right.
But
Thailand?
don't forget, there's other countries like Australia which are not even allowing the people to leave. So it's not just about whether they can come here. It's about whether they're allowed to come here at all. Because then they're going to do 10 days here. They're going to do 10 or 14 days back and forth. That's a month you're in a hotel. Yeah?
So it's only worth it if A, you've got a lot of money, and B, you plan to stay here for 6, 7, 8 months or whatever, and say, I'll have 2 weeks, I don't care.
Yeah.
Then I'm cool, right? That's how but the person who's only got 2 weeks, 3 weeks holiday, they can't come.
Well, there's a strategy that they're looking at just now, which I think is very sensible. They know people have to go into quarantine. They should. Yeah? They are people are saying remove it or reduce it down to 10 days. Yeah? But what they're also talking about is having resorts which are
Bubbles.
for COVID. And they're bubbles, so people can actually have events, whether it's playing tennis or whether it's going swimming or whatever it is, when they're going through the quarantine. But it's basically a prison camp of a resort.
Do you know what went through? It's a leper colony.
Yeah, and
especially with Phuket, because they were going to do that with Phuket.
So we're going to try that one day.
It's like a leper. I'm going with the disease.
I think that's fair enough, especially if you're looking at doing long term, because a lot of people in the winter, especially older people, they want to leave Europe because it's too cold. So they're going to be here for about 4 months.
Yeah, I agree. If you're planning to stay longer than your 2 weeks or 3 or 10 days or whatever, of course it's not economically viable, and you just go to the hotel for 2 weeks and go home.
Well, this was the idea of the special visa program, wasn't it?
Yeah, the elite visa.
Yeah.
Or
No, the special visa.
No, the special visa program, which means that you
elite
stay
as
for
well.
longer than 90 days.
Yeah.
Right? Yeah.
All right.
Elite card.
But, it's just, do you really want to spend 2 weeks in a hotel?
When the world opens, I think Hua Hin's waiting, man, because
Well,
you're going to be in such a strong position with the way
I think
your
so.
life is there. I'm really impressed with Hua Hin.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
I've got to go. I've been there 5 years.
Well, you should come
who's
down.
who I'm talking
Absolutely
to?
right.
Yeah, I'll
Yeah.
come down and see you.
Come down and see us and come and have a look at the radio. Yeah.
Yeah,
Be very welcome.
Yeah, you've got a bedroom in your house.
Don't worry, you'll get a tent. Yeah.
That'll be all right.
Okay, well, I think that's
about it, yeah.
for everyone. Richard, thank you very much, man.
Thank you.
No,
And thank
it's
you.
been a
Going to the
pleasure.
studio.
Yeah.
And we look
Okay.
forward to all the future Hua Hin reports, because
Thank you.
they have
Yeah.
been very popular and they get a lot of views. And
And by the way, anybody just watching, if you wanted to listen to our radio, it's Surf 102.5.
Surf 102.5.
Just stick it in Google and you'll find it there. There you go. Thank you.
So thanks for watching. Thanks for all those who have subscribed, especially recently. Anything to watch out for? If you haven't seen the one about secret societies,
Oh, yeah, we
there.
have the Masonic, the Masonic one. Then we've got another one coming up. Should we?
About girly bars.
Girly bars, patia, and the background. Yeah.
Okay.
Just put it that way.
Yeah.
It
It's a bit
is
of an
really
expose
quite
there.
fascinating.
Bit of an and that's coming up very, very soon. So once again, thanks for watching. If you haven't subscribed yet and you like to subscribe, then subscribe. Like and share helps us as well. Thank you very much. See you next time. Bangkok ChitChat.